Hundreds dead in Sri Lanka as Muslims kill Christians on Easter Sunday. President Trump still under attack even after his exoneration. And we're going to talk about media, messaging, and manpower. What you and I can do to get the truth to rise above the rabble and the din of lies. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance. Welcome to the program, friend. I'm sure that you are in a state of horror, and if not, God help us, we should be, over what happened to our Christian brothers and sisters in Sri Lanka. 3 churches, multiple hotels, nearly 300 people dead at the hands of Muslim terrorists. Easter Sunday masses, services. 4 Americans are dead that we know of, including a small child. When I look at this, for those of you who are new viewers to the program, I have a master's degree from a military university in diplomacy with a concentration in international terrorism. The bulk of my research was on Islamic terrorism. And the simple narrative, the bumper sticker narrative, if you will, is that Muslim terrorists have not stolen the peaceful religion of Islam. They are literally following the narrative of the life of Muhammad. They're mimicking the record of his life with their acts of terror, with rape, with subjugation, with slavery, with slave trading. This is historic Islam. And you can read it for yourself in their most sacred literature, sacred to them. The most important being the work of Ibn Ishaq, the Sirah, the biography of Muhammad. Sir al-Rasul. It is called Muhammad, the life of the Prophet Muhammad by Ibn Ishaq. It's a canonical book. It's a holy book to them. I was thinking before I prepared the show that the level of denial, the level of fear, the level of treachery against the truth that is happening with our national media, with local media, and with our politicians is staggering. When I got my master's degree, I started in one university and then withdrew and went to Norwich University because it's a better school. It was a better program, a more prestigious heritage with the school. But in the first school that I went to, my master thesis was going to be, is the media able to cover Islamic terrorism? And I actually began to view people in the media. And the answer clearly was no, they're not, because they don't know the narrative. They don't know the story of Muhammad. They don't know the history of Muhammad. So we're simply not getting the truth from these people. Some of it is because of neglect, laziness. Some of it is because of a bias against Christianity. All of that to say, this is Islam. It is the spirit of Islam. Think about this. There is not one square inch of geography in the Middle East, not one square inch of so-called Islamic countries that was not stolen with the sword, terror, war, rape, torture. Not one square inch. And the places that are free, like Spain, the Iberian Peninsula, which was occupied for hundreds of years by Muslims, or Greece, which was occupied for hundreds of years. Christians were tormented. They were kidnapping the Christian boys, babies, and raising them to be Janissaries, Muslim militants, Muslim officers who would torment the very people that gave them birth, the very communities where they were baptized as babies. That's Islam. And those places like Spain and Greece, the only reason that they're free is because of bloody, costly wars. You can look at Constantinople, the new Rome, the greatest city in the world for hundreds of years was Constantinople. The greatest church in the world was Hagia Sophia. And the Muslims captured Constantinople, On a dark night, they took ships on land over a 6-mile path, putting logs under the ships and rolling them over dry ground and getting them into the harbor. And they conquered the city, and they drove chariots into Hagia Sophia, and they raped the nuns, and they killed the priests, and they slaughtered people in the church who were seeking refuge there. This is the history, people. And it's not as if it's hidden. It's just, it's in books. You can read it. You can do the research. But there's a will that we have to have that requires us to know the truth, to understand the truth, and to fear the truth. There are certain truths that should make us afraid. If you get too close to this cliff in the Grand Canyon and you slip and fall, you're going to die. That is the truth, and that truth should make you back away from the cliff. The truth about Islam is that it is a cancer. It is a violent toxin in this world that has raped and murdered and enslaved millions, tens of millions of Christians over centuries. And what we saw in Sri Lanka over the weekend, the horror that these poor Christians went through, the death, the carnage, that is just one more bloody bud from the taproot of Islam and Muhammad's life. And I defy anybody to tell me I'm wrong. Show me I'm wrong using their literature. I've got to take a break. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a movie producer. I'm a television host. We spent a lot of time and a lot of money putting together the best documentary on Muhammad's life in the world. It is called Muhammad in His Own Words. Call the number on your screen and order your own copy. It's a 90-minute film using only their literature. Only their literature, the Muslims' literature, and their art, ancient Islamic art. Call 877-851-WORD. 877-851-WORD. And get the movie. It's the most important movie that you will ever see if you want to understand Islam. I'm going to take a break. God have mercy on the souls of those who died, Christians who truly are martyrs for their faith. And God, wake us up. God, wake us up. Please don't go. I've got a lot to talk about with you today. I'm Randall Terry. I'll be right back. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. For the beginner or price-conscious buyer, there's Michael Kelly guitars. For the serious player or professional, Roxy Guitar has the finest selection of guitar lines I've ever seen. You know I love Warrior guitars. Roxy Guitar has over 100 Warriors in stock. They have Heritage, G&L, Gretsch, John Sears, BC Rich, Duesenberg, Dean, legendary guitars at great prices, including pre-owned Gibsons, Fenders, and more. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com. President Trump was exonerated, vindicated by the Mueller report. No collusion with Russia. None. Zero. No obstruction of justice. And yet the Democrats are so unhinged that they are still talking about impeachment. And President Trump's polling numbers in the last 4 days have dropped a net of 18 points. It's mind-boggling. And the reason is because MSNBC, NBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, they're literally quoting the sound bites of the Democrats saying that inside the Mueller report, it shows that President Trump has committed treasonable or rather impeachable acts. That's simply not true. It's a lie. And yet these godless liars, these damnable liars in the media who are now false prophets, they're not just reporting news, they're false prophets. They are parroting and giving airtime to false prophets to further this lie that somehow the Mueller report was against Trump. It's absurd, but it's working. And they're just beating him and beating him and beating him. And his numbers actually went down. The first couple of days after the report, they went up because the headlines all said no collusion, no obstruction. But now that the Democrats have just beat this drum day after day after day, his numbers are going down. There are fewer people who want impeachment. 11% fewer Democrats actually want impeachment. God bless them for at least an ounce of, or half an ounce of integrity. I beg your pardon. But this is mind-boggling to me. We have to stand with our president. We have to publicly stand with him. And the timidity and the nicer than Jesus mentality that has poisoned the church now in America for decades is coming home to roost. If you and I were alive at the time of Joshua when he took the promised land, what do you think? What kind of man do you think Joshua was? Well, he was a holy man, he was a good man, but he was a warrior. He was killing people. If you look at the judges in the book of Judges, the people that God raised up to deliver Israel, some of them were really characters. Gideon was quite a character. Look at the men that God chose. Look at the prophetess Deborah. Look at the people that God chose. And you will see that they were intense. They were warriors. They were not necessarily the type of people that you'd want to dinner. Jehu, son of Nimshi, that God used to break the back of the house of Ahab and Jezebel. I'm sure that he was a really gruff man. He went upstairs and he had dinner at the table where he had just had Jezebel thrown out of the window and killed, and the dogs ate her. The point I'm making is, when you get in a situation like America is in right now, we're not going to turn this ship of state with peaceful conversations. We're not going to. If you think we are, you're wrong. You're deluded. You have bought into the nicer than Jesus mentality. It's not going to happen. I heard about I believe it was a Kentucky state assemblyman who said, it's too late to resolve this peacefully and it's too early to start shooting. That's a scary quote. I hope that that's not true. I want to resolve this peacefully. But it's not going to happen without getting in people's faces, without disruption, without name calling. Now, when I say name calling, I don't mean like na boo-hoo. I mean saying this is a baby killer. This person is a sodomite. This person is an enemy of righteousness. This person is an evil, treacherous villain. You have to use the words that are in the scripture, that were used by the prophets, that were used by righteous, holy men and women to define the enemies of God and the enemies of humanity and the enemies of freedom. You have to use these words. And if you won't, then I'm sorry, forgive me, I don't mean to be unkind, but you're part of the problem. If you won't say this is evil and these are evildoers, if you quote them, well, everyone has their opinion. This is what they believe is the truth. They're following the lights that they have, whatever it is, then you're part of the problem. Because those very words give umbrage, coverage to them. And they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop until they have created a godless world in their own image and in the image of Sodom and Gomorrah. That's where we are headed, and we're already there in many aspects. We're already there in many ways. So what are we going to do? I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to give you my cell phone number when I come back from this break. If you are willing to be trained to do something in your community, And don't call me and give me your ideas. Call me and say, I'll do what you tell me, Mr. Terry, because I know what I'm doing. I'm not giving out this phone number so that I can have people call me and say, we ought to try this, you ought to try that. No, no, no. You ought to try it. I'll be right back with the phone number.
I also want to speak tonight directly to Muslims throughout the world. We respect your faith. Its teachings are good and peaceful. And those who commit evil in the name of Allah blaspheme the name of Allah.
We have reaffirmed again and again that the United States is not and never will be at war with Islam. Islam teaches peace.
Islam is a religion of peace. They are not Muslims, they are monsters.
We've been told that Muslim terrorists have hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam. But Islamic art and literature tell a very different story. To know the truth, we only have to study the narrative of the founder of Islam, Muhammad, in his own words. Welcome back, friend. We were sitting around the breakfast table reading the Esquire magazine article about me. He called me the undead. He was just trying to blister me. But it was funny. It was actually funny. We laughed out loud. The New Yorker magazine article about me recently was not funny. It was just vitriol. At least the Esquire guy had the integrity to quote me why I'm doing what I'm doing. Now, for those of you who missed it, we had a ton of media coverage that came out of Iowa. Going into Europe, Malta, the Malta Times, because Pete Buttigieg's dad was Maltese. For those of you who are like, what? I don't know what we're talking about. Mayor Pete Buttigieg, he's the mayor of Great Bend, Indiana, the city where Notre Dame is, the university. He's an open sodomite. He is with his houseboy, this young man that he's in a contract with, and they are a horrific example to young people. Horrific, okay? This guy's the beautiful face of evil, the handsome face of evil. He is the first poster boy that the homosexuals have ever had. Okay, it wasn't going to be Liberace, and it wasn't going to be Freddie Mercury from Queen. This is the guy. That's what makes him a greater threat. So we went there and we protested at his events. We disrupted his events, standing up in his events saying, remember Sodom and Gomorrah. This man has blood on his hands. Remember the babies. So the long knives came out from the media. But mission accomplished, people. Mission accomplished. He wanted a coronation. He wanted to go up there and just bask in the beautiful media, and we stole it from him. And we brought everyone face to face to the fact that this man is in a debauched homosexual lifestyle. Sin. We prevailed. Now, Franklin Graham, who I have great respect for, said that we shouldn't have heckled him, but that we were right. Homosexual behavior is an abomination. So he was trying to write both sides of the fence. The New York Post took him to task, which was kind of funny. And I'm going to reach out to Mr. Graham. I'll let you know how that goes. But at least he said it. At least he said it, that homosexual behavior is an abomination. He quoted Leviticus chapter 18. That's what we've got to do. Now, Pete Buttigieg is starting to make different campaign stops. He's going to Dallas soon. We are trying to pull together people in Dallas. If you are anywhere in driving distance to Dallas, I want you to reach out to me. Go to my website, randallterry.com, and fill in the form there to email me. We'll keep you posted on this show. But also, if you are willing in your community to do an event to protest when any of these Democrat candidates come to your town, it doesn't have to just be Pete Buttigieg. It could be Kamala Harris. It could be Bernie Sanders, any of them. I'll teach you what to do. I will teach you what to do. You just have to be willing to do it. Now, here is my cell phone, and I'll block you. If you harass me, I'll just say delete this caller. So you get one crack at harassing me. But for those of you who are willing to do something, to have your name be in the paper, to have your face on television news in your community. If you're willing to do that, here's the number, 904-826-9989. Now, I might regret that for the rest of my life. Might have to change the number. I don't care. I'm willing to take the risk. We have to raise up an army of people, squadrons. I think it was John Adams who said it might have been Samuel Adams who said you don't have to have a majority to prevail. You need a minority, a relentless, tireless minority that is keen to set fires in the minds of men. 904-826-9989 if you are willing. Now, I have a life. I'm very busy, so I might not be able to pick up when you call. Leave your name, leave your number, text me at that. It's a cell phone, okay? But I'm looking for people who will put their reputation on the line to stand against these baby killers and the promoters of sodomy, okay? If that's you, if you're willing to be a prophetic voice in the public square, call me. I'll be right back. What Would Mohammed Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained is the best movie series documentary ever produced on the life of Muhammad and Islam. How do I know? Because it's what critics are saying. John Moore, radio host and author, said, "I learned more from What Would Mohammed Do about Islam and Islamic terrorism than I've learned from everything I ever read and watched in my entire life." Best-selling author Dr. Bill Warner said, "What Would Mohammed Do is the best movie series, TV production on the life of Muhammad and Islamic terrorism that has ever been produced." Friends, this is what the experts are saying. No one has ever done what we've done. I encourage you to get 1, 2, 4 copies. Call 304-289-3700. That's 304-289-3700, or order it at the address or the website that you see on the screen. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com. When we take these trips to various states, the average cost of the trip is between $5,000 and $6,000. That's just to turn the motor coach on and to start driving. That's how much it costs us in gas, hotels, food, paying for staff. Because these people have to get paid. They have to make a living. That doesn't include paying me anything. That's just to turn the coach on and to go on a multi-state trip for 5 or 6 or 7 days. That's what it costs. We've made this decision to fight not based upon what's in our bank account, but based upon that it's the right thing to do. We don't have the money to do this. It's not in the budget to say, oh, we're going to have another $60,000 this year to just go and fight it. It's not there. I have to raise it. So I'm asking you, if you believe in what we are doing, you know that I don't talk about money a lot on this show, but I need help. I need people to give $100, $500, $1,000, $2,000. We need your help. If you believe in what we're doing, we're on the front lines. It doesn't get any more front lines in American politics than this. But even frontline soldiers need a supply line. Go to our website, randallterry.com, and make a contribution online. The address where you can send a check is there online. The phone number where you can call and make a contribution, 877-851-WORD. And we have thank you gifts. If you give a $100 gift, we'll send you almost $200 worth of incredible material to help you become an activist. But friend, I'm asking you to help us, please. Be our supply line for these battles. Please.